Hello, everyone. How are you? Okay, we've got a week before Thanksgiving, so I wanted to share some thoughts about the holiday experience. And many of you are getting together with family. Maybe it's been a while since COVID that you guys have all gotten together. And a lot of you are probably excited, but maybe some of you are a little hesitant. Maybe some of you are kind of not looking forward to it for whatever reason. There's many reasons, and I won't get into all of those right now. But what I'd like to do is offer you a couple thoughts to help you have an experience during the holidays that you want. So, I'm going to introduce you to a concept that I learned about that has helped me. And it is that we have lots of instruction manuals for other people, for our children, for our husband, and for the holidays, even. Our biggest manual, and I think the thickest manual, is the one that we have for ourselves. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But we do this. We have manuals for people, instructions for how we think they should behave, things that we think they shouldn't say, things that we think they shouldn't do, right? And we think that if they just follow this instruction manual, then we can connect and we can be good. And so ultimately we have these manuals because we do want to connect with these people, but we're like, you got to follow these rules and then we can connect, right? So that resonated with me. But what I realized is that when we meet somebody and they're following the instruction manual, let's say you find someone like that, what you're connecting with is the instruction manual and not the person. I'm hoping your mind just went boom, like mine did when I realized this. So here's the thing. You got to rip up your instruction manual. That might be a little scary for some of you. But because we think that if we rip it up, then people just get to run around acting however the heck they want. Guess what? They already are. They already are acting and behaving and saying and doing what they want. Because our thoughts create our emotions, so it's create our actions, right? So everyone is acting according to how they're thinking. And there's nothing you can do about that or control that, how they think, right? All you can do is control you. I know I'm all for free agency until I can't control other people, right? But here's the thing. That is where your power lies, is what you have control over. So here's an example. If I have an instruction manual for my husband, and he's not doing some of the things that I think should, and sometimes I'm like, it's right there. Why can't you just follow the instructions, right? Do this and I'll be happy. Okay. And so he's not doing that. And then I start judging. I start getting critical. Well, isn't this interesting? Because now I'm going into judgment mode, which is not connecting. Ultimately, I want to connect. And I'm thinking if you follow the instructions, then we can connect. And then he doesn't. And then I judge, and now we're not connecting. So we've got to rip up the manual. And the way that we connect with other people is allowing space for them to think and feel how they want to. Now, there's a whole other part of this that I can just hear all of you listening going, it's not okay for some of my family members to do certain things. And that's where we have to talk about boundaries, right? Which is a whole different conversation. And yes, we also need to have boundaries with certain people in our lives, right? Especially when now we're doing things together as family. And there are people that we need to have stricter, tighter boundaries with because we don't feel safe. Okay. That's totally different conversation. And let me just, I don't want to just like end it there. If you are feeling like you need to have boundaries going into the holidays, then I really do suggest you book a session with me and let's talk about that. And let's work out some boundaries, some healthy ones that you can set and establish for the holiday season. Such a good idea, extremely healthy. Now let's go back to the manual, because really the people that we're doing this with are people that we want to have connections with, okay? Our friends, our family, our husband, our brothers, our sisters, our mom or dad, okay? People that we want to have a connection with. I think you would be surprised at what instruction manual you might have subconsciously written for them. and what you might be thinking when they don't follow that instruction manual, and then what that actually does to the relationship. It's dividing, it's not connecting. So my challenge to you is going to be something that you might not expect. And that is to get really curious about the instruction manual you have for yourself. And like I said, if you're like me, it's pretty thick. I've ripped out some pages. I'm getting better. But what happens is that when we have our own instruction manual, is that we think that if we don't live up to what our expectations are for ourselves, then that makes us less worthy, less valuable, that we're not enough. We're not enough for other people to love. And that is so false. You are enough, and you are 100% of worth, no matter what you do. So here's an example to put kind of in context of what I typically have done in the past. So we are a big food family. We love food, and my kids all have their long list of foods that they love from mom to cook during the holidays. And so during the holidays, I go crazy in the kitchen making all of the foods that my kids like, because I used to think that if I didn't, then they wouldn't love me. They would be disappointed, that it wouldn't be a good holiday. It would be a bad holiday for them. I felt like I wouldn't be a good enough wife or mother if I didn't meet all their expectations. And so, I gathered up all of my kids' expectations and stuck them in my manual. And I felt like I had to fulfill that during the holidays with food and a bunch of other stuff, but food mainly, because we love food. So what I realized though, is that while I was making this food, I was not having a very enjoyable experience. And if my kids didn't, because what I added to my manual is, okay, here's what they want. So I put that in my manual. But then what I added was that they're going to love it, and they're going to be happy, and they're going to eat all of it. And they're going to tell me how amazing I am and what a wonderful holiday this was because I made all the foods. I put that in my manual. So what happens is that when they didn't fulfill that part of the instructions, I got really judgy. I got really angry and frustrated. And guess what? Now I'm not connecting. Now we're dividing. There's no connection. And that's really what most of us are wanting during the holidays, is we want to feel that connection. We want to have a fun, warm, good, healthy experience. So rip up the manuals, but rip yours up first and start connecting to yourself. What experience do you want? How do you want to feel during the holidays? When you go to a family member's home for the holidays, or you have family over, what do you want to feel during that time? And then what thoughts can you have that will give you that emotion? What thoughts can you think during that time that will create the feelings you want for that? That is your power. That is what's in your control. And it doesn't matter what anybody else does. You've ripped up their instruction manuals. Okay. I hope that helps. I hope that gets you at least thinking a little bit, because Thanksgiving, honestly, for me is one of my absolute favorite holidays. It's really because I have learned to have so much gratitude in my life and allow the things that I am grateful for to help me stay in my own power and help me move forward through some very difficult times in my life. So I love just the word Thanksgiving, because for me, it's all about giving thanks. It's all about noticing the incredible things around me in my life that I am extremely thankful for. And one of the things I'm most grateful for is what I do, the women that I work with. And so I am grateful for you this Thanksgiving. Have an amazing holiday. And if you do need a little bit of help one-on-one ripping up that manual, then go ahead and book your session with me now. All right. I will see you soon.